I am honored to read the beautiful eulogy that Don's husband, David, wrote for this afternoon. Donald Williams was born January 24th, 1947, in the mining town of Brisbane, Arizona, located 7 miles from the border with Mexico. His father was a copper miner who worked in the Copper Queen mine in Bisbee, and his mother was a housewife. To quote Don's father, they were dyed-in-the-wool Southern Baptist. He graduated from Bisbee High School in 1965, and during his tenure at Cochise College, he became a radio announcer. He married Carol Cochran in 1968, and they moved from Bisbee to Riverside, California, where he received a degree in psychology with a focus on alcoholic treatment from California Baptist University. At the time, he weighed 400 pounds. While in Riverside, he and Carol elected to be candidates for a new and experimental intestinal bypass surgery, and as a result of the surgery, he lost 230 pounds. The surgery resulted in a rare form of arthritis, which would plague Don for the rest of his life. They moved to Northern California in 1970, where he accepted a job in alcoholic treatment at Ross Hospital in Marin County. During his time there, he responded to a call from God to enter parish ministry, and he enrolled at Golden Gate Southern Baptist Seminary in Marin County. It was during this time he began to question his sexual orientation and his attraction to men. For his MDiv degree, he wrote a paper on the acceptance of homosexuality in the church, for which he was expelled from seminary in 1971. He and Carol divorced in 1972. Don remained in the Southern Baptist Church for a while, then found a stronger support for himself and fellowship with other gay men in the Episcopal Church. It was at St. Aidan's Episcopal Church in San Francisco, where as a single gay man, he found a spiritual home and where he met David in 1977. Still working in alcohol treatment, Don became head of OSNAM, a substance abuse and detox center in San Francisco run by St. Vincent de Paul. In 1980, David moved into Don's Hyde Street flat, thinking this would be just 6 weeks of fun at the most. Just 6 weeks. That 6 weeks turned into 43 years. Wow. In 1981, they discovered the First Unitarian Universalist Church of San Francisco and quickly joined, becoming involved in the life of the church. Don was on the board of trustees, and David was active in the choir. They would be here just 5 years when in 1985, they bought a 4-bedroom house in Petaluma and commuted 40 miles to the city 5 days a week. By this time, Don was in management at Bank of America, and David worked in IT at Wells Fargo Bank. They became members of the UU Fellowship of Sonoma County and were asked to serve on a new denominational committee called the Welcoming Congregation, a program whose mission was to bring about inclusiveness of gay, lesbian, and bisexual people in Unitarian Universalist congregation. They joined PFLAG, Parents and Friends of Lesbians and Gays, which led to their introduction of the Welcoming Congregation program at other Protestant churches in Sonoma County with mixed results. Don and David visited more than 30 churches in the county over a 9-month period, presenting the program. At one Lutheran church, during a question and answer period, a woman in all seriousness asked, "What does a homosexual look like?" In recognition of their social justice work, this church presented them with the Conrad Reiner Award in 2008. In 1996, Don and David inherited a home in San Francisco in the Glen Park neighborhood where they lived for 10 years until Don could no longer navigate the stairs. Don was instrumental in bringing about domestic partner benefits at Bank of America in 1996. Don and David were married 3 times to each other. They first decided to marry in 2000 before GLBTQ marriage was legal. And our Emerita Reverend Margot Campbell Gross married them, and as an act of social justice, she refused to sign the marriage license until gay marriage became legal for everyone. When San Francisco Mayor Gavin Newsom opened the marriage doors in 2004, they promptly got married at San Francisco City Hall. Then the civil rights to marry the person they loved were taken away by the state of California. But in 2008, the Supreme Court of the United States overturned California's ban on same-sex marriage, and to celebrate, Don and David decided to marry a 3rd time in City Hall with the full blessing and support of this congregation. They were married by the Reverend Greg Stewart, and our own Nancy Munn, where's Nancy? There she is, sang a beautiful solo. Don and David loved hats, especially Easter hats. They started the Easter Hat Library, which is still in existence at this church, in 2004, and many of the pictures you will see today are from Easter Sundays past. Beginning in 2009, Don's arthritis worsened, and they moved from their 3-story Glen Park home to a single-story condominium 1 block from the church. Don retired from Federal Home Loan Bank in 2009, and David from Visa in 2012. Don started losing his ability to walk in 2016, and by 2018 was completely bedridden. In 2017, David suffered a stroke, and taking care of Don became increasingly difficult. They moved to Ivy Park Assisted Living in February 2023, and Don went into hospice care in August. He passed away peacefully on November 6th. Don is survived by his sister, Melva, who is 7 years older and lives in Pilot Point, Texas. His nephew, Lauren, and his family are with us today to celebrate this life along with members of David's family. Don had a wonderful sense of humor, a beautiful smile, and in spite of much physical pain, brought much joy to this world. His spouse, David, continues to be involved as a member here. And I would just add, that sparkle of his eye is something that I hold dear and remember dearly.